Welcome please to the JVG podcast, where these G's are gonna spread their seeds of knowledge about the league. It's flourishing with these. These funny catchers seem to be well read, esteemed and honest. Like the man himself, Jeff Van Gundy. They are high IQ, so cerebral and funny. So if you're on the bus, just border on the dunny. Listen to the
JVG NBA Tribute Show.
Is it episode 94?
94.
I am your co-host, Lucas. Should we shut that door?
Wow.
As joined always
Worst intro ever.
with my co-host Marco.
Hello, thank you for the introduction, Lucas.
Thanks for having me, man. Is there anything you wanted to ask me about?
How was your weekend?
Okay, we did close the door, but it's still very loud. Nah, do you want to do like a social sporting roundup?
Right. I've got a couple of things I want to talk about before we talk about basketball, but you go.
Yeah, same. Oh, well, okay, yeah, we'll do yours then. No, but this is basketball. You said there's a couple of things before basketball, and now it's just dragging on.
You know how people on the internet say like, I'm in my X era?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know how like in Jake and Amir, he goes like, been pretty into X lately, or not really a hobby, but been pretty into X lately.
Yeah.
And I think they're kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been pretty into cutting my fingers lately.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, exactly right.
Damn, 2 Band-Aids.
So on Saturday night, let's call it Saturday night for argument's sake, somebody sabered a champagne bottle, and I about half an hour later, I went to pick it up to pour someone some champagne, and I cut my finger on it. Didn't really feel it at the time, but about half an hour later, I was like, oh wow, that thing is really fucking going for it. It was just bleeding so much. And I was like, I don't want to make a big deal out of it. And then if, you know how people latch onto things when you're like, hey, I don't want to make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, it's classic. It's a classic Ned maneuver.
Wow, you're making such a big deal out of it.
Yeah,
No, but it is bleeding like quite a lot.
You shouldn't have brought any attention to it.
Yeah, and then eventually I was like, fine, I won't make a big deal out of it. And I held it above my head and it just started like dripping down my arm. Until finally Lucy was like, all right, let's go put a Band-Aid on you.
Yeah.
On Sunday night, I think I was doing like the easiest cut ever. I was cutting like a zucchini or something, you know? It's not something finicky. And just like sliced right into another one of my fingers.
Oh my god. That's that one? That was that job?
No,
that's the champagne bottle.
That's the champagne bottle.
And that's
so
gotta
there's
be
like
the cut.
3 cuts on this. So that one was fine, the zucchini one. And then this morning I was cutting an avocado. And that one, that's a bit more difficult. That's like, there's something like 350 Brits a year injure themselves there cutting into an avocado.
Yeah, but Britain's fucking cancer.
Yeah, exactly. So it's only like 10 Australians or something. Anyway, I cut it like a tiny little bit. I'm like, fuck, another one, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was riding to work, and like I got to work, my hand was just covered in blood.
This is all on the same finger.
I feel like I just haven't I've just lost the feeling in my fingers or something.
I thought you were going to say, I feel like I just haven't had a chance to talk about it.
Not in this way, not like break it down all in one sitting.
Yeah, so you're telling me there's, on your right hand, that's the champagne cut.
Yeah.
And then on your left hand, that one finger has received 3 separate cuts.
Well, it's at least 2.
Okay. Which could be 3 still.
Yeah.
A zucchini and avocado.
And then possibly another cut on the way to work. Because it definitely wasn't bleeding. You know, I did it was like 15 minutes between me cutting the avocado and getting on my bike, and I definitely looked at my hand and noticed that it wasn't covered in blood.
It could also be the current conditions.
Yeah.
I feel like my skin is very sore.
Right.
Like my fingers are sensitive to everything. My lip has a cut in it, and I'm trying to hold off using lip balm or anything like this because, we all know that's a fucking... what's that thing? A pyramid scheme.
Exactly.
But not in like a monetary sense, in like a usage sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you need a tolerance.
Yeah, and you become dependent on it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, you can get some free lip balm if you sell it to 10 other people.
Yeah. Well, that is. Oh, I completely forgot what it's called.
A pyramid
scheme. A Ponzi scheme. That is actually a pyramid scheme. What you're in right now.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Did you want to ask me about my social sporting over the past few days?
Please.
Sorry about your hands. Yeah, man. So Monday night rolls around. I got the 9:30 slot for game 1 and the 10:15 for game 2.
like unreal in the sense that of the bad sense.
Could not be a worse back-to-back.
believe
Next week I got a 7:15 and an 8 if anyone wants to come watch. 9:30 and a 10:15. 9:30 game rolls around. It's the Cheesebridge Saganakis. We are playing against a really bad team. And we're going through the motions. I'm feeling pretty ill. I had a wonton soup entree and a rice vermicelli with stir-fried beef and prawn spring rolls from Lamb 2.
Jesus
About an
Christ.
hour and a half before the game.
Jesus.
And it's sitting very heavy.
Yeah.
I cracked 2 threes, back-to-back plays. Johnny hits him with the dribble penetration. I'm in the dunker spot as a 5'10" center. And it was a nice little floater. And yeah, I had 8 points in like 2 minutes and then did nothing else the rest of the game. Maybe I got 1 or 2 rebounds. Did not defend with any zest at all. And
So business as usual.
BAU. And then we ended up losing that game to a very bad team. And I was vexed. I gotta say, I was vexed.
Yeah, right.
And so I was pretty happy to have the other game, the 10-15 game.
Where you're the point guard instead of the center.
Yeah. Well, I was defending their second big, though, for whatever reason. But it worked well in the end.
Yeah, right.
We played Alfresco Dining. You might have heard of them.
Right.
Easily the best team in our
Yeah,
league.
yeah.
Like, by far and away the best team in our league. They beat us in the grand final last year by a point. I was proud that we were even in that game. So, first half, they're I splash a 3, but like they're quite handily in the lead. And then I take 2 other threes in the first half, which both missed, but I was like, they kind of feel pretty good. And then the second half rolls around, and we're not getting any good shots because they're defending us like crazy, just like so well. And I was like, all right, well, if I just chuck up a 3, that's probably better than the options we're getting right now. Or, if anyone were to chuck up a 3, it's probably, just as good as a look as the ones we're working for. And the scores were 19-29. I don't know how long was left, maybe 15 minutes. But I was like, I'm going to just chuck one up. And as soon as I caught the ball, 0.5 seconds later, it was up and it was in.
Wow.
And then it went in, like it was up and I was like, that's in, bang, and then it went in. It confirmed, bucket. And then, we went back and forth a little bit more. So, sorry, at this point the score is 22-29. We're down by 7. And then, let me just do the maths in my head really quick. Fuck.
Well, you were down by 7.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. What's that minus that? Okay, so we're down by about 26 to, God knows, 32 at this point now.
Right.
And then I hit another 3.
Right. To bring it within 3.
Yeah, so we're on 29. Does that check out? Yep. So then we're on 29. The other teams,
God.
slowly they're just keeping us at about 5 points at bay. Next play down, I hit another 3, and now it's 32 to, let's say, 36 or 7.
Yeah.
And then the next play down, I hit another 3, and now we're at 35, and the other team's at about 39. The other team's at 39. And then the next play down, I hit a 3.
No.
And now we're 38 to 39.
My God.
We're down by 1. And then they come down and they score. Probably my fault. But then the next play down, I hit a 3.
What?
And now we're tied at 41.
My God.
with about a minute to go. And we time out to advance the ball. And I'm like, well, not everyone's like, Lukas is going to get this ball. And we don't get the ball in, so I'm like, I got a genius plan. I'm going to inbound the ball and then get the pass back from whoever I inbounded to.
Right, get a bit downhill,
Yep. Didn't go as planned. I threw it to Poseidon on the double block. He got doubled as soon as I passed it to him. And then just made the most heroic tap out to Johnny in the corner. Taking one of the most off-balance shots I've ever seen. Johnny was like, turn around, fade away in the corner. I thought it was good. And it like just missed. Sam got the rebound, put it back, and we won 43 to 41. And yes, for anyone playing at home, I was 6 of 6 from 3 in the second half.
6 of 6?
Yeah.
In 1 half?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was like, it was weird. It was very much like the best I've ever shot.
Is that your best 3-point shooting of all time?
Yeah, I'd have to say so. Usually I've had games where I'm like, a handful. But like I've had games where I'm like, I'm in my form and I'm like, damn, that feels good. Last night I was like, I made the conscious decision in the backcourt to be like, if the ball sees my hands, it's going up and it's going in.
Yeah.
And like, we were just like, flow it, me and the ball and me. And we won in the end.
I guess, the alternative is one of those doesn't go in and you keep chucking them up and then they keep not going in.
But the issue...
and you're a really bad team.
The issue with that is that it didn't happen because I made all 6.
But do you think we approach every game like this now? Like you're a catch and shoot 3 and no D guy?
No, there was some D. And a couple of rebounds as well. It's amazing how much energy you have when you score heaps of points.
It's true. You really you got that like bronze something badge,
Yeah.
You hit a 3 and you get a little bit of your stamina back. Yeah.
But then, I had a shocking sleep after that. I reckon I slept 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. after that.
What, were you hyped or were you
so hyped.
Man,
and also
nuts.
pissing like a racehorse.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
6 made 3 is like, even an NBA player making 6 threes in a game is like...
something we have to talk about.
Yeah. Wow. Well, congrats, man.
Thank you, yeah.
That probably singularly outclasses all of my social sports achievements.
Nah. Tell them about that other time.
Nah, well, let's move on to the professional sports.
All right. Well, can we do like a mood check?
Yeah, well, I'm feeling pretty, what do you mean?
Like that exactly what you just did. I'm feeling quite formless and very exhausted.
Let's just chat.
I had an osteo session just before this that my mum kept pressuring me to do. She was like, go see this osteo. And I was like, no, mum, I don't want to see this osteo. Mum, no. And then she was like, I'll pay. And so I saw the osteo.
Damn.
Really good session. Not anti-vax, but just not vaccinated. I feel fucking weird though.
Yeah.
I could go a Syrah or something.
You reckon from the osteo or from...
I think it's a whole lot of different things.
Yeah. I think you used up all your energy last night.
Yeah, I have zero... I'm fatigued.
You're fatigued, yeah. You need a day off.
Yeah.
But there's no rest for the wicked, is there? And certainly not when the most exciting basketball in the league, most exciting basketball league in the world has just begun. The WNBA.
Yeah. What is that?
I thought I nailed the transition and I really hadn't.
WNBA is back, baby. How does it look, bro? Oh, thanks. You do your game first, I reckon. The Aces versus
the Seattle Storm.
You want to just... Yeah, let's just do our game.
Yeah, let's just do this game. Because I think
everything
that went right for us in this game also went right for us in our first game.
Okay.
It was... watching the highlights, I didn't feel like I think how you felt. Well, I felt like it was a really evenly contested game.
Yeah.
Like, I think you guys you look a bit thin at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think we're like forming up really quickly, if that makes sense. Asia is just like slotting into that center role so well. I think it limits her a bit on offense. Like sometimes she's just like sitting in the dunker spot on plays, but fuck yeah, she got some massive blocks. She was like rebounding really well. I think this is going to unlock her and make her a better player. Like, not playing alongside someone taller than her.
Yeah.
For the majority of the game. Jackie Young is a fucking gun. And then like Kelsey Plum and Chelsea Gray both had like, I don't want to say quiet, but like.
Kelsey,
but Kelsey, she really lit it up in the fourth quarter.
She won you the game.
Yeah. But like, they weren't really the focus of the offense for like the first 3 quarters, I thought. But yeah, I think we've just got this really, really handy 5 at the moment. Asia Wilson is obviously just like this offensive threat, and she's shown that she's tall and athletic enough to be a good shot blocker. Dearica Hamby is just like a rebounding machine, just like one of those, just an energy big. She's not very mobile. She was just getting blitzed past by players constantly. But like, I think you'll kind of take that with your 5th best player.
Yeah. Also, like, we'll take that for the cost of 19 boards.
Yeah. And then like Chelsea Gray is this good like more classic initiating point guard. Kelsey Plum is fucking like Tyler Hero is the male Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
Say. And Jackie Young is just like an excellent explosive wing. So I think we're really set in that, and there's Yeah, Becky Hammond is going to do a fucking bang up job with this squad.
Yeah.
And like you can already see them playing her ball like straight away.
Yeah. Chelsea Plum had 14 points in the last quarter.
Nuts.
For the game, she had 18, and I didn't even realize she had 7 assists. But
Yeah.
she just has so much energy, man. Oh shit! I didn't even realize Sue Bird only had 3 points for this game. But yeah, in watching this game, it was very tight. I think it was until the last quarter, and then your team just won. Like that they just like made every play a winning play. Kelsey Plum got hot. You made one mistake, I remember, late in the fourth quarter, and we just did not capitalize on it at all. And we made a couple of mistakes, probably like around how many mistakes you'd make in a close game in a fourth quarter, and you guys capitalized off all of them. And just being like that ready.
Yeah.
This early in the season. Like, you have the same core, but you've got a new coach. We have the same core and the same coach. And, like, we should be the ones doing that stuff. Not, well, you guys too, but, like, we should also be the ones doing that stuff. I was a bit worried about Ezzy in the last quarter because I think she had 3 turnovers, like, in a row or something, or in very quick succession. And she made some great defensive plays, but I think that she can become like a solid starting center by the end of the season. And maybe this is just like the early season blues or something. But yeah, I think that her inexperience was kind of hard to cover up.
Yeah, I almost feel like you're on the wrong timeline for Ezzy. You know what I mean? You're in this like real win now, win last sort of situation. And she does feel like she's going to be like a top 3 center in the league, but in like 3 or 4 seasons, you know, because she's so skillful. But you're right, she's just not like mature enough, or her decision making isn't quite at that level. Whereas like, man, Stewie was she's just never does the wrong thing.
Yeah,
you know? Like, and you forget that she can do any basketball skill on the floor. Like she can take people off the dribble from like past the 3-point line. She can hit threes. She can like pull up from the mid range. She can get inside. She's a good defender. She's a good rebounder. And it's just like she is one of the like unstoppable players in the WNBA, I think. And she's just always so composed about everything.
She is so fucking good. There are points I get mad watching the team play when it's like when they just lose all of their like connectedness and like just playing to a game plan. And in those moments it's like, Stewie, just go. Just like go. Don't everyone else will figure themselves out around you. Just go. Shoot the next 6 shots. Like, it's so bad for the other team when you take a shot. And you're so good from everywhere. Like you have every move for everything. And then you're also like a great defender. Like, not just a good defender, but like a great rim protector and a great one-on-one defender. But yeah, we're not gonna. You're definitely going to be one of the top 4 seeds, the Aces. You guys look so fucking good. Like, it's crazy. And you guys got 34 boards between Hamby and Wilson.
Nuts.
I am still interested to see how both of our teams go against like a big.
Yeah, exactly.
But so far, I think I like both of us. But I think this is going to be a pretty sad season for the Storm.
You reckon?
Yeah. Also, I was wrong about Gabby Williams. She's so good.
Yeah.
Her defensively, unbelievable.
Yeah. I think she, as soon as she came in, like the first minute she played, it was some great play.
Yeah.
But I can't remember it. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's that sort of night, isn't it? I think we've gotten like very lucky that our first 2 games were against good teams, but like it was, the Mercury without the best center in the league. Yeah,
well, I didn't even realize that the Mercury had Tina Charles, who led the league in scoring last year. And they're going to have a center rotation of Tina Charles and Brittany Griner.
Nuts.
Hopefully with Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
And then also Tarossi will just like pop up in the playoffs. But like, there's so much offense in that team. But anyway, you go on.
Oh no, yeah. I just think I think that'll be the test for Asia in particular. Is like, can you hold your own? Can you hold your own on both ends against like a really like a true big in the WNBA? because like she's proven that she can be the 5 like immediately. And I still think offensively she looks better alongside like a Liz Cambage type.
Yeah.
Because she just has like a bit more room to operate. But I think this is what makes the best Las Vegas Aces team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll just be how she goes up against those true centers.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what every other professional basketball is doing, but why does Asia Wilson's like one leg sleeve look so much better than anyone else that wears like one leg sleeve? It's so clean. I don't know what she does. She goes, because it goes like, I feel like with other players, it's like cuts off at the thigh or something or at the ankle. Hers just goes all the way from under her sock to under her shorts. And it's like, it's so cool. It just looks so much better. Everyone else, take note.
She's a very aesthetically pleasing basketball player.
Oh my God.
Like her shot is just so beautiful.
And a southpaw.
Yeah. God, we love a southpaw over here at the Deep too. There's one other WNBA thing I wanted to talk about.
What was it?
The truth comes out, or does it, about Liz Cambage and what she said to the Nigeria squad at the Olympics.
The only thing I saw about this was a Fox Sports article quoting Andrew Bogut, so I didn't click on that.
It's just got to be like the worst collision of two bad things.
What?
Where, like, I think so. Basically, do you know what the comment was?
I don't know what it was. Didn't she? I think it was something racist from memory.
Yeah. So basically, the ex Opals captain Jenna O'Hay, she said in an interview, and she's also like confirmed it in the investigation and stuff, that Liz said to the Nigerian women's basketball team to go back to your third world country.
Oh my God.
Which not an okay thing to say.
No place for that
in any context. And I mean, like, Ezi Magbagor is Nigerian. Liz's dad is Nigerian. So there's kind of like this. I mean, there's just all this interesting stuff of this, like how Western black people like are racist to African black people. But all that aside, and then Liz came out and said, the truth will always come to light, and it ain't even dawned yet. In a very cryptic tweet.
That's not cryptic. That's saying everything.
Which I think means you're not actually able to deny that you said that.
Yeah.
So obviously that's not okay, but Jesus, there has been I reckon there's been about 12 news.com.au and 12 Fox Sports articles about this. And it's just like, man, it's not good reporting being done on it. It's just angry white guys yelling about her being insolent and stuff like that. It's not actually looking at like how it's probably something that happens in men and women's basketball quite often. That sort of like black to black racism, if that makes sense. And like something that you can kind of handle with a bit more care than Andrew Bogut like yelling on the radio about it. So I'm not endorsing what Liz said at all, obviously, but like again, they're just never gonna report on her, I think, in a constructive way.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's not even trash talk though. Like that's such a bad thing to say.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. I read that she used a racial slur.
Yeah.
And then I think they mentioned that she said the N-word to them, and I was like, isn't Liz black?
Yeah.
So
and that's like Andrew Bogut said in the interview, like, oh, she said heaps of worse things, like, and words I would never repeat on radio. It's like, is it just the N-word?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to repeat that on radio, Andrew Bogut, as much as you want to.
But I think, not missing the point, but like, so many fucking times Fox Sports and news.com.au could have held so many other people accountable ever. From ever until now. And then it's like, oh, this is the person our punching bag is the person we're going to use as the example.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think like footy players like Jake Stringer and Jordan De Goey get 12 articles a day written about them?
They would have enough every day to have 12 articles written a day about them.
Exactly. But, we only get like bits and bobs of that when it's, people really pushing for it.
Yeah.
And I think just anything she does, just instantly they latch onto. Again, completely not endorsing what she said.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, shall we transition?
Shall we switch over to the other league?
Yeah.
This is like 3 of these series I like really. I almost want to say bad.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because I think the playoffs have lost, or something happened like 5 days ago, and they all just started clenching. Every single team just started fucking butt clenching.
Yeah.
Which series is?
Well, I want to say every series except Philly and Heat. Which
I was gonna say that's the worst
You're
one.
gonna say that's the worst. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I'm not enjoying any of the good stuff that's happening,
okay.
and it's just so cluggy and like messy and shit.
Yeah.
But like Grizzlies Warriors actually sucks.
Yeah. Like the game today was actually bad.
Yeah. Actually.
Well, yeah. Let's talk about it. What's making this series bad? Like between a fucking dynasty playoff team and like one of a young and upcoming team that was the second seed in the West. Like, what is the issue here?
Is it the absence of Ja? I don't know. I feel like neither of these teams are really playing their games.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like quite a bit of inconsistency with the Grizzlies. Oh, you know what it must be? I think it's just good D isn't as fun to watch as good offense.
Right.
And I think that's what's happening all around.
Right.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know about this series though, because I don't really think either D has been like stifling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think like we've seen the Warriors perimeter D hasn't been like locked down this entire playoffs. You know? It's been good, and obviously they got their system, they got Draymond, like Clay is definitely looking better on defense. But like it hasn't been shutting players down. Dylan Brooks is taking like so many bad shots every game, and it's not because they're defending him. I mean, I think they're defending him pretty well. Like Wiggins is playing some good D on him today, but it's like it's not world class. He's just chucking up shit.
He's chucking up shit.
Desmond Bane, I think the second he can't like feast, he just doesn't take shots.
Yeah.
And you know, like what did he have today? He had
3 of 8, 2 of 4 from 3.
He had 8 points.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't have 8 points if you're Desmond Bane. You know, this is meant to be their like 20-point a night provider in the playoffs. That's sort of how it was pitched this season. You know, and then on the other end, it's like Steph and Clay have just been chucking up shit as well. Like, and just nothing has been landing. And I think it's just this way that the Grizzlies play. They just play this complete chaos ball where like they don't let the D set, but then they don't let their own D set. They sort of just instantly try to like disrupt what's going on with the opposition's offense. And it's like it works, but it just creates this ugly game. And I think it creates this really ugly, strained atmosphere. And then when you top it off with all this fucking like chip on your shoulder shit, it just makes me not like the Memphis Grizzlies at all.
Yeah, they're definitely like they're losing all of their goodwill they had that they built up during the season.
Yeah,
I feel like Dylan Brooks is like giving the Golden State fans what they want.
Yeah,
like
100%.
They all hate him, and you should hate him. Every single person should hate him. But like he would be so contested and just like throw the ball at the ring.
Yeah.
And it honestly looked like he was saying sorry for what he did to Gary Payton II. But like in no other, it was so bad. It was so bad. He was playing so bad offensively, and defensively, I think he was okay, but he wasn't like really good.
No.
That last play, or the last couple of plays, where they were like, all right, Jaren Jackson Jr., you'll take Draymond, and then also chuck up a 3. Now, awful offense, but now that I'm thinking about it, what else do you do?
Yeah.
Because the other options are Desmond Bane, who's fucking decided to not be a part of the game. Dylan Brooks, we just talked about it. Tyus Jones, I think that could be a good option. But other than that, I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. is probably the best option. I think maybe you want to get him off Draymond.
Yeah.
But I think that he's probably the best option.
And yeah, I think that is. I think that's what happens to this team when Ja goes. Is in the regular season. Yeah, okay, we know the record, right? We know the depth, we know the game plan that Taylor Jenkins has. But in the playoffs, like you actually do need someone who can give the ball to in the last possession and who can score a bucket. You know. And that, there's no up next for that. Like, you can't just be like, Zaire Williams, that's you.
Yeah.
And Jaren Jackson Jr. has, I guess, by virtue of stature and salary and, you know, age and skill set, he has to be the second best player on this team in that sense.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, if Ja's our first option, then you're our second option. And I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, I do think he's a good player, and I think he's actually been, you know, he had 5 blocks today, and I think, like, he's been proving that he should be like an all defense sort of guy.
Yeah.
But he can't create a shot, and he certainly can't create a shot over Draymond Green.
Yeah.
So then you need someone else who you can go to. I mean, you need, obviously you'd have Ja healthy most of the time, but I feel like true contenders have 2 guys you can, at least 2 guys you can give it to at the end of a game.
I agree. No, I agree.
And even the New Orleans Pelicans, sorry to bring them up, had Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum, 2 guys who don't mind taking a shot at the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you want 2 facilitators and 2 scorers. And that can be spread over 4 players or 2 players that do both of those jobs.
Yeah.
Also, we do have to mention that you remove Ja from a team, you get a whole Ja Morant worse, like, as a team. And yeah, that can go 20-5 in the regular season or whatever the record was. But this is like a second round matchup against the Golden State Warriors in Golden State.
Yeah.
What series do you want to talk about next?
Last thing about this one, Taylor Jenkins, shut the fuck up, because like you're going from one of the most beloved coaches into the league to the least overnight, man. Like, go 1 game without complaining. Just do it, all right? And I think that's the other thing about this series is like, okay, yeah, cool. Steve Kerr wants to keep this thing going about Dylan Brooks. You know, everyone's getting chatty on the court. Ja Morant's fucking tweeting about Jordan Poole trying to rip his knee off, apparently. But like, it's just bad. This is not actually fun for anyone. Like,
it's so like the idea that you can just rip someone's kneecap off, but also like it's a fucking Coca-Cola can and you're pulling a tab. Not like you've got him in a vice. Rolled up, and then you're yanking on his knee for hours and hours on end. It's like, oh, that ended my career. And the fact that we're talking about it.
I know. Yeah, just everyone just needs to settle down.
Do they need to shut up and dribble?
They actually might. Well, Taylor Jenkins needs to shut up and coach.
Yeah,
because he's not actually. I don't think he's actually been like a. I think he's coached well in the playoffs, but I don't think he's been like a good late game coach, for example. Like, he wasn't drawing up these inspiring plays.
Yeah.
Even against Minnesota, you know, like that. The Ja game winner was just like that's the most obvious thing in the world. Get Ja going as fast downhill as you can possibly manage. And he's just looked really uncertain at the end. Like, they've just looked really uncertain generally at the end of games. So, yeah, maybe shut up and coach.
But also on the Ja thing, I feel like every single win that the Grizzlies have had this postseason, it's been like Ja had the last 12 points for the Grizzlies to take him home.
Yeah.
I just think that's worth mentioning.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've both got Boston, Milwaukee open.
Oh, yeah, you elected to go for B-ball reference.
Yeah.
I'm on ESPN scoreboard.
Well, we got to switch it up every now and then, don't we? Usually I don't want to
What? Yeah, go on. You take this.
Jesus, well, Al Horford, he's still good, hey.
Did you know there's a guy called Malik Fitz on the Boston Celtics?
No.
Malik
Fitz.
Wow,
yeah, he's right at the bottom there.
Oh my god, Malik Fitz. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, the Al Horford game. What the fuck? That was crazy.
I have a lot of things to say about this game. I don't really know how to organize them, so I'm just gonna spit them out there.
Okay.
I think we've been like touching at this earlier about, is the Bucks offense not that good without Chris Middleton, or is Boston's defense just that good? You know, I'm starting to think it's the latter, because there are some really capable perimeter players for Milwaukee who are looking absolutely trash. And Giannis just that stretch in the third was just unbelievable. And there's nothing, even if Robert Williams is fit, there's nothing Boston is going to be able to do to stop stretches like that from Giannis. But man, there's nothing going on outside of him at the moment.
Yeah. Well, Middleton breaks everything up.
Yeah.
I feel like Giannis is a facilitator and a scorer, like we mentioned before. I feel like Drew becomes less of a scorer when you take Middleton out.
Yeah.
When Middleton's in, they have three scorers in Drew, Giannis, and Middleton. And then 3-point shooters around them. But I don't. I feel like this is the first time I've actually been able to critique Drew Holiday in his entire career. Because he's always just done so much. He is still just like an elite defender. But I think that we're seeing him at his limit and like what it looks like when you have to ask him to be the second best player on a second round team and help lead them to it. Yeah.
I think even more than the second best player. Like he has to be so much better than the third best player in this context. It's like he almost has to be like the 1B or something here. And, he has to be facilitating, scoring, and also, kind of like facilitating for Giannis as well. Because Giannis, like, he can't do every play by himself. He needs someone to sort of break open the D a little bit for him on occasion. And you're right. Like, look at his plus and minus today. Minus 23.
Giannis.
No,
Holiday. Yeah.
Drew. In a, what was it? A 6-point loss. So, I think asking him to do that is one thing, but asking him to do it against, like, the best defense in the league, and definitely the best perimeter defense in the league, is, like, a very big ask. Yeah.
Yeah, and, same thing with Jara and the Grizzlies, Middleton on the Bucks. It's a massive thing to have to adjust to. Also, like, he's Michael Jordan when he plays against the Celtics, for whatever reason. But let's talk about the Celtics as well, because at the end of the third quarter, there was a block charge call that the refs called a blocking foul on Drew and on Jaylen Brown, and then the Bucks reviewed it, and then they switched it. They said it was a charge on Jaylen Brown, which gave Brown 5 fouls late in the third quarter. And I think the Bucks, and then obviously the Bucks got possession, but I think they were up by 9 at that point. I think it was like roughly 80-71, probably. That's 9 points. And I thought that was serious. Like, that was 3-1. Like, guaranteed. Jaylen Brown's out of the game. That was a massive momentum shift as well. And then just, like, it was so, like, Boston, the rest of the game, treated every, like, 5 to 10 point stretch like checkpoints. Like, okay, we'll keep them to this amount of points while we get this amount of points, and this amount of points while we get this amount of points. And then they end up winning on the back of, like, one of the best fourth quarter performances I've ever seen from Al Horford, of all people.
My God. Who would have thought that of all the players over 35 in the league, that Al Horford would be the one performing the best?
You know who.
What?
His wife.
No, it's his sister.
Anna Horford.
Yeah. Sorry, I broke this to Sean today. Al Horford's wife is the 2003 Miss Dominican Republic winner, and not bad looking, might I add. Anna Horford is his sister. Which I think makes it worse.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, Al Horford has a kid named Ian, spelled E-A-N. E-A-N.
It's Dominican. Get over it.
Ian. Oh.
Yeah, are you looking at Al Horford's wife? Amelia Vega?
Yep.
And we'll be right back.
Back to L. Big L.
Yeah, no, just, LeBron James isn't in the playoffs. Chris Paul, the second he turned 37, we'll get to that, forgot how to play basketball. And Al Horford is dropping 30 points on, 78% shooting, you said. And just, like, looking like the most positive influence on that team. Yeah. Even throughout the game. Like, there were so many plays when him or Tatum or Grant Williams just got completely blown by Giannis, and they didn't even contest the shot. And it's like, that's actually the right thing to do here. But at the same time, Al Horford is like, he's the best matchup there for them, Like, he's going to pester him the most somehow. Yeah. Somehow this 35-year-old who, I don't think he can move very far at all. But he just had this fire in his belly as well, and we saw it. When he got posted and he went down the other end, what was it? Was it in the same? Was it later in the quarter?
No. I think it was in the fourth quarter. Because he dunked on Giannis, and then Giannis taunted him. In air quotes, taunted. Fucking, he just looked at him for a second, and then Al Horford started nodding at him like noted, and everyone was probably I am everyone in this scenario. Everyone was like, "What are you gonna fucking do, Al Horford?"
That was that's the last we've seen of that.
Yeah, and then he came down, fucking punched one on Giannis, and then started glitching for his celebration. But yeah, I think did he have 16 points in the last quarter or something?
Yeah,
18 points.
Like,
oh yeah, no, you got it. Q4.
Oh yeah.
Shout out fucking B-ball references.
There we go. 16 points.
Yeah.
6 of 6 shooting. 2 of 2 from 3.
Bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
Love's just talking about the league, certain things like that.
But I think the emerging difference between these two teams for me, beyond what we were talking about with Middleton being missing and stuff, is last season, last playoffs, the Bucks rolled out Drew Holiday, PJ Tucker, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez.
In that order.
In that order too. Yes, PJ Tucker playing at the 2. I know. I was just as surprised as you. Those are 5 great defenders. Those are legitimately, you could say, I don't know, what would you say, top 40?
Oh God. Oh.
I mean, too difficult to say. But they're all great defenders. They all have great defensive resumes as well. This season they're rolling out Brook Lopez, who he doesn't really look worse after his injury, but he doesn't look quite as good. And Grayson Allen and Wesley Matthews, and I don't like the regression there which just meant that in games where the offense wasn't happening. And boy, were there a lot of games before the Eastern Conference Finals where the Bucks' offense wasn't happening.
Yeah.
It meant that their D was good enough to sort of make up for it, to limit the opponent enough. Now, their offense isn't happening, their D isn't quite as good, and they're going up against a team that can roll out 5 great defenders as well. On their best day, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Robert Williams, and Al Horford. So I just think that is what's going to tip the series.
I think you could probably go Robert Williams instead of Horford and put Grant Williams on as well.
Yeah.
And that's still a good, really good defensive lineup.
Yeah. Grant Williams didn't look great today, though.
Yeah.
This is his first playoff game where he didn't look great.
Yeah, which is crazy. He's been so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, God. But I think that if you look the Bucks defensively from last year to this year, when you mention PJ Tucker and the other of the big 3, and Lopez looks great as the 5th best defender who can just focus on defending the key.
Exactly.
But next to Wesmat and I'm not even going to say that guy's name, but next to those other 2 guys, then he becomes the 3rd best defender on the court, and then it gets a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
Did I send you that video of Dyson Heppel's post-game interview?
No.
Oh my God. I'll show you after the game, but he just fucking loses his mind at one point. It makes absolutely no sense. He's like, Truck, give me a buzz. Tell me about, you got some big shaky waters happening. When they found out a couple hours before the game that they had all those injuries.
God.
And then fucking got the win.
Man, shout out.
Don the sash.
Shout out to the Essendon Bombers Football Club.
Can we don? Shout out to Ernie Johnson. Shout out to all the TNT and every other Essendon fan in the world.
Why did that come to your mind just then?
I'm sure there was a trickle-on effect. I'm sure there was a domino effect.
You know what? I'm sure there was, Lucas. Well, okay. Well, then there's 2 other series here.
Facts.
One that I think is... No, you're right. I don't think... Dallas Phoenix hasn't gotten ugly in the same way.
Nah, it hasn't. But it's gotten weird.
Yeah.
It's gotten really weird.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think legitimately... I think Dallas have just gone, you know what? Fine. We'll play it your way, Phoenix. We're going to flop on it. We're going to flop every time Chris Paul's arm touches us. We're going to, we're just going to play physical. We're going to like it feels like they're like, oh, you don't want to play fair. Let's not play fair.
Okay, I like that.
Which is interesting because Phoenix, I feel like they haven't had to not play fair over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been just a team who wins games, and when you go, oh yeah, they were getting all the calls tonight, they're like, they would have beat you anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, they beat you every way.
Yeah.
They beat you every way possible.
They beat you in the foul count, but they also beat you in every other part of the court. And that's always been like one thing I've always forgiven Chris Paul for is like, okay, cool. Like he's a conniving little shit. He flops. He gets a lot of foul calls. He's also like legitimately one of the like stingiest passes of all time. You know? Like this guy doesn't turn the ball over. He has like an automatic offensive shot. But then it's like since the New Orleans series, they've been like, nah, like a bit on edge or something, and they're like, we need to win this game no matter what, you know. And it's just been so smart in game 3 and 4 how Dallas have taken Paul out of the game. Reggie Bullock, I can't believe it. He did an amazing job on him in game 3, just tagging him all night. I think that's the second most times he's turned over the ball in his career. Like I think he had 7 turnovers and his record is 8 or something like that. Wow. And then in game 4, just getting him in foul trouble early, he just never looked comfortable, not for a moment in the game.
Fighting his family.
Yeah. I mean,
it all went according to plan.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Luka had some sleeper agents in the crowd. I don't know. Man, it's so funny. Whenever you see a back shot of the Dallas Mavericks crowd, no other jerseys. All Luka Doncic and a couple of Jeff Nowitzkis.
Luka Doncic.
And then I think once they've sort of got that advantage on Phoenix, their offense is it's just everything that originates from the pick and roll action with Luka becomes absolutely too much for Phoenix to handle.
Yeah, I think that Phoenix might wipe the floor with them in the next game.
Yeah, right.
From a multitude of reasons. Davis Bertans shot 4 of 6 from 3. That hasn't happened since 2012. When he was 14. Don't quote me on any of that stuff, by the way. Anyway, but I think Jalen Brunson's really preferred being in Dallas.
Yeah.
DFS, I loved him to death. He had this one post game interview that just made me a stan forever. But he's not going to go 8 for 12 from 3 every game.
No.
Their 3-point shooting has been really consistent, the Mavericks. But I think that Phoenix is. Like the game in Phoenix will I think a couple of them might shit themselves.
Yeah.
Mavericks.
Okay. I just think they've been getting so much more out of their other players, you know, their non-star players than Phoenix have. You know, like I think Bridges has just gone missing.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he?
Playoffs long. I think even Ayton hasn't been looking at his best in this series, which you know I was gushing about how consistent he was last week. Way too much Jay Crowder action. Like,
oh my god,
he's been playing really well, but if he's your second best player, like you're having a fucking problem.
Yeah.
Whereas there's just been like 6 guys for the Mavs who have just consistently been knocking down 3-pointers, like you're saying, but just like being in the right position defensively and offensively. Even like Maxi Kleber, whenever he comes on, it's like. You don't feel like there's a downgrade on either end. You know, like obviously Dwight Powell is the better defender, but you don't feel that sort of step down that you think you would when your sort of stretchy big man comes on, and he's just been stroking it. So I just think again that the weird thing about this is Phoenix just haven't felt like they've been in their game, and they just need to get into their game.
Yeah.
For game 5.
If you look at game 4, just the field goal attempts, the double-digit players for the Mavericks, Dinwiddie, Doncic, Brunson, that's probably every game. And then DFS.
Yeah.
He had to go 8 for 12 from 3 to get those double-digit attempts as well.
Yeah.
Look at the Suns. It's Booker, Ayton, that's cool. It's not Chris Paul, but it is Cam Johnson and Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
And then Bridges has 9 attempts.
Yeah.
So a bit shaky waters, just as Dyson Heppel said. You just want you want more. You want 55 shots coming out of your big 3.
Yeah.
And then, like the 6 and 7 attempts from everyone else. But like, as I said, I think they're gonna wipe the floor with it in Game 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Chris Paul turns it on.
Yeah.
Which, maybe when you get to that age, you just can't turn it on every night. But you can turn it on like every third.
Yeah. And now the Heat Sixers.
So why have you thought this series has been dumpster fire?
I just don't like it, man. Like the 2 games that the Heat won, I thought were really good. Then the next game, Embiid came back and he I feel like, didn't he score like didn't he have like 18 points or something? I want to see him just jam on him. And then like, how many times do I have to back Harden or whatever? And then the moment you stop backing the guy, he goes for 31 points and an assist, and then like wins them the game in the fourth quarter. And he was seriously amazing in Game 4.
Oh my
but
God.
I just can't put my finger on this series. I think that's the thing. I can't put my finger on it, and there's no flow. It's like every game happens by itself, and I guess the teams make adjustments, but there's no storyline happening. It's just like each game is its own entity.
I think you sort of said it before. It's like one team is playing their game and the other one isn't. Like in each game, Like this was like, Philly's game plan going completely to plan, and the Heat are just sort of there.
Yeah.
Particularly in Game 3, Game 4 was one of those. All right, Jimmy is playing like his best basketball. Can someone like please help him?
Yeah.
The way he was going up against Embiid, like he was getting inside like one-on-one with Embiid and beating him. Like I think in the third or fourth, like he beat him like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Which is just incredible. But I think it's just weird. It's just weird how the rest of this team can fall away. And Bam does not look good against Embiid at all on either end of the floor. I was so excited for this matchup.
So excited.
And like the fact that Bam, isn't allowed to shoot threes and Embiid can just drop on every single possession against him, it just nullifies him,
Yeah. I'm just so confused by it all. Like, but also Jimmy Butler, is he the only player with multiple 40-point games this postseason?
Damn.
Yeah.
Or Luka?
Oh, potentially.
He had 240. I think he's had 2. Oh, I don't know.
Unsure, but
I'll fact check while you chat back.
Duncan's out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Out of the rotation. Max Strus is taking his place. Victor Oladipo, 15 points. Jimmy Butler, 40. Bam, 21 on 9 of 12 shooting. And you lost that game.
Yeah.
Like that shit. Like, how the fuck... What does that mean? Like, how can you... I'm just so confused by it all. And I need to make sense of it. Embiid had 13 shot attempts. And granted, he had 13 free throws as well. But, like... I think you want Embiid's attempts being like in the mid to high 20s if you're the Sixers, and he had 2 assists, and I'm sure he had a bunch of hockey assists.
Yeah.
But still, I'm not like getting out of this series what I want. I think it's just like a viewing thing more than anything else.
Okay.
Someone brought up the point. I think it was probably on Twitter. Shout out to Twitter. But since Jokic won the MVP. What do you reckon Embiid's going to do in Game 5?
Oh, God. He's going to have 29 shot attempts. He really
Do you reckon that points thing will start with a 4?
Yeah, probably. But, I mean, here's the thing. Game 5, you're right. This series, it's not like an engaging viewing experience. Game 5 should crack it open, right? Like, Embiid wasn't there for Game 1 and 2. So, like, we didn't really see the Sixers playing on the Heat's terms and like doing well, Like those first 2 games, just like the Heat are just gonna do whatever they want, and it really is just because the Sixers are on demand. They don't have Joel Embiid. Game 3 and 4, it's almost like they just caught them by surprise, and the Philly crowd actually decided to get up a little bit. Game 5, it should just be like, all right, Game 5 should be like Game 1,
Yeah.
It should be like, all right, now we're like back on even footing, and we're both at full strength. Let's like actually play a basketball game.
Let's land the first punch.
Yeah. And Jimmy obviously has that fire in his belly. Embiid is going to have that fire in his belly for sure. So, yeah, I think we'll see a huge game.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I want to see Miami play Miami ball and Philly to play Philly ball. I want to see that happen at the same time.
Yeah.
Not just like taking turns.
Yeah.
And fucking Kyle Lowry not looking like himself.
No.
Did they rush him back?
Man, there's just a lot of players not looking like themselves at the moment. I don't know. You're right. It was like 5 days ago. Someone just drained all the juice out of the NBA playoffs. Is it because like it's the 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds in both conferences? It's just this kind of like too even slog. There's not enough underdogs. There's not enough like surprises.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's a deadlock.
It really feels like a deadlock. Like the entire thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not enjoying the playoffs, like,
which is what this whole episode has sounded like.
Yeah, but like there's just been it really feels like no one can get an upper footing on anyone in like a meaningful basketball way.
Yeah.
And like I don't like it.
No, neither do I, Marco.
Like there's no team I'm like, wow, I really hope they make the conference finals. I'm like,
yeah.
Just like any of you, sure, whatever.
Oh, that's such a good way of thinking about it. I don't want any of these teams to win the ring. Like any of these teams from the last 5 days.
Yeah.
From the rest of the playoffs, all of them had an argument.
Yeah.
But like these last couple of days, I'm like, I don't want any of you guys hoisting the Lario up.
No. Is this the worst second round of all time?
Tune in next week to find out.
Yeah, I just want like a game, an exciting close game that doesn't leave a fucking sour taste in my mouth as well.
Yeah.
Because any moments of like excitement have been spurred on by like someone trying to injure someone or someone claiming someone has been trying to injure someone. Or, you know, there hasn't been like, oh my god, did that shot he just hit? Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
It's just been like, oh, look at that fucking idiot missing that late game attempt. Or look at that dumbass slapping that guy in the back of the head.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty hopeful for Heat Sixers Game 5. Yeah. I think actually that has to be a good game. How could it not be?
Well, yeah, Jimmy, he's the only guy with 2 40-point games this postseason.
My guy.
He's averaging 29, 7, and 5.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, and he didn't have to do anything in a couple of those Atlanta games.
Yeah. He had 40 points on 20 shots as well.
What a nutcase.
Yeah, friggin' nutcase.
Cool. Any departing thoughts?
You haven't listened to Jack Harlow's album?
No, I have not. Do you want to comment on it?
He's just changing the game, man. I feel like we should have stuck with that energy for the whole episode.
No, you're quite sour.
Yeah.
It should have been sort of sweet and bubbly.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
No, we should have just not talked about basketball. No, we actually shouldn't have. We should have played a couple of songs live.
Well, everyone watching at home, go check out Jack Harlow's new album. What's it called, Lucas?
Come Home, the Kids Miss You or something. Ooh. He is honestly, every assumption that anyone that knows nothing about Jack Harlow would have on him, like this pretty boy, white boy, why are you trying to rap? Confirmed in this album. Up until this album, he was just making like banger after banger. But this album, it's so cringe. I love it, but it's very, very cringe.
Jack Harlow, Come Home, the Kids Miss You. Out now, Spotify, Apple Music. Apparently, one of these songs is about Dua Lipa, it's saying here.
Yeah, the song's called Dua Lipa.
Oh my god.
And then he's got a song called...
I hate it.
There's a song called Side Chick and then Little Secret.
Wow. I'm going to have to listen. But I'm really not going to be happy about it.
Yeah. Well, should we bang an El Jana?
Let's go.
Good night.